Yeah, Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone to Wednesday, the 3rd of July, 6 p.m., which is Bhagavad Gita time. Hare Krishna. So part 2, if you look at it from a weekly perspective of reading Bhagavad Gita, and we're going into, quite excitedly, we're entering into the 11th chapter, which is known as Vishwarup Darshan, also known as universal form. Vishwarup Darshan Yoga, yeah? The universal form of the Lord. Okay, everyone's ready? Oh, I forgot to bring up Gita, so let me bring up Gita. Okay, stay already. Okay, share that Bhagavad Gita. Okay, Namo Om Vishnu Pataya Krishna Pashtaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pachamine Nivasisha Sunivhari Pashtatari Satarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Okay, let's scroll forward a bit. There we go. First verse of chapter 11. Okay, Madhu Mangal Prabhuji, you can lead us in.
So, chapter 11, the universal form, text 1. Arjuna uvacha madanugrahaya paramam guyam adhyatma samjinityam yat svayoktam vachastina mahoyam vigato mama. Translation. Arjuna said, by my hearing the instruction you have kindly given me about those most confidential spiritual subjects, my illusion has now been dispelled. Purport. This chapter reveals Krishna as the cause of all causes. He is even the, the cause of Mahavishnu, from whom the material universes emanate. Krishna is not an incarnation, he is the source of all incarnations. That has been completely explained in the last chapter. Now, as far as Arjuna is concerned, he says that his illusion is over. This means that Arjuna no longer thinks of Krishna as a mere human being, as a friend of his, but as the source of everything. Arjuna is very enlightened and is glad that he has such a great friend as Krishna. But now he is thinking that although he may accept Krishna as the source of everything, other may not. So in order to establish Krishna divinity for all, he is requested Krishna in this chapter to show his universal form. Actually, when one sees the universal form of Krishna, one becomes frightened, like Arjuna. But Krishna is so kind that after showing it, he converts himself again into his original form. Arjuna agrees to what Krishna has several times said. Krishna is speaking to him just for his benefit. So Arjuna acknowledges that all this is happening to him by Krishna's grace. He is now convinced that Krishna is the cause of all causes and is present in everyone's heart as the super soul.
Okay, thank you. So these are introductory verses. In the 3rd verse, Arjuna will actually ask Krishna to see that form. Yeah, because the previous verse, the previous chapter, at the end, he said, Ekam steno stito jagat, that these vibhutis come from but a spark of my splendor. So Arjuna is inquiring to see that complete manifestation. Yeah. And this is a bit of a side point. I hope you don't mind me bringing it up, but it came to mind some time ago. I was listening to a dialogue between an atheist person and a Christian preacher, and they were speaking about the divinity of Jesus Christ, how he is. Different Christians different Christian dominations have different views on it, but most accept, as far as I understand, that Jesus is God in flesh. It's the whole thing. But the proof of his being God, which this well-known Christian preacher was explaining, is that he rose from the dead. Now for us, it's not such a, okay, if anyone rises from the dead, from the ordinary sense of the term, it's quite extraordinary, but it's not unknown. There's many accounts in the Bhagavatam where whole armies rise from the dead by dint of some jivani or some mystic mantra, some mystic potency. Anyway, point I'm getting to here is that Krishna is definitely established as God, not because he so-called just rose from the dead, but because he reveals this universal form, which is there in all historical accounts. Krishna is actually revealing this form, so it's a pretty strong evidence of his being the supreme, all-pervading personality of Godhead. Anyway, sorry, side point. I just came.
Can I jump also quick in? So
yes.
Jesus actually said, I am the Son of God and the Father is in me. He didn't said that he is God, but I think Christians speculate a bit and made that he said, only through me you go to the Father.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into a whole interfaith dialogue here, but there's many things Christians. I'm just bringing up this one point of if there's a really phenomenal statement in Bhagavad Gita, throughout the Bhagavad Gita, but especially he's revealing his universal form. It's definitely evidence of his, let me say, divinity and more. Yeah. Hare Krishna, welcome devotees who just joined us. Hare Krishna. We just read the first verse and first purport of chapter 11. Okay.
Can I ask something quick? Is that because Krishna, by his potency, he actually dissipates all the illusions? It's like a guru when he speaks, he will dissipate any illusion. I don't say guru is Krishna, but it's his representative. But what I try to understand is like, because Krishna instructed Arjuna, then because of his potency being the real, let's say, deal, then all the illusion was dissipated.
Yeah, Krishna is acting as his guru, so the guru is acting on behalf of Krishna. So as Krishna is enlightening his friend stroke disciple and dispels all illusion, so in the same way, by listening to guru, then we should, the idea is that we become free from all misconceptions and all illusions. Yeah, it's the same principle.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm not very good to put in phrase. Sometimes I need to repeat the same thing till it's coming out the right way.
Yeah. So then as we progress, especially if we're in the same mood as Arjuna for understanding Krishna, that was mentioned in the beginning, for us to really understand Krishna, we have to be in the same mood as Arjuna, and that is submissive, loving relationship to whatever degree of love we have. Then we can enter into these mysteries and be enthralled and excited by what we're hearing. Okay, so welcome again those who just joined. Okay, any other quick comments or questions here on this verse, these introductory verses to the 11th chapter? Yeah. Arjuna said, just read it again, by my hearing the instructions you have kindly given me about the most confidential spiritual subjects, my illusion has been dispelled. Yeah. So he doesn't think of Krishna as a mere human being, So now he's going to ask on behalf of, as Prabhupada will bring out, on behalf of us, on behalf of people who may doubt Krishna's divinity. Yeah, he's going to reveal this universal form. And Arjuna in this chapter will go through a variety of emotions. Yeah, shock, horror, disbelief, sorrow, sorrowful, complete bewilderment, fear, shock, disbelief. Arjuna will go through all these emotions in this chapter. Yeah. Okay.
Why did he got terrified by seeing Krishna's form, Arjuna?
He's universal form.
Why did he got terrified?
Well, perhaps you have to see it yourself. Yeah, I mean, we can read about it. We can read about its description, but to actually see it, to actually experience it, is enough to bewilder anyone and to frighten anyone. I think Arjuna at some point basically tells Krishna, stop, stop, stop. Please, please show you that form from which nectar comes. Yeah, it becomes overwhelming to Arjuna's perception and senses. Yeah. So that's why. Sorry?
Krishna is so beautiful. Can you see Arjuna would be looking at Krishna, who is so beautiful, his friend, and then all of a sudden he sees something terrifying,
Yeah.
all things going in and all, you know.
Yeah.
It's going to be really terrible. I mean,
Because
and
they're
I was
really
just
terrible.
thinking how, you know, how Sejal was, she was asking about her, talking to her son. I was thinking about it today. You know how in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, how Krishna is talking all about telling Arjuna about the soul and, you know, all these things. He doesn't talk about himself. I was preaching to myself because I was feeling exactly the same in the beginning. So how then later on, in later chapters, how Krishna then is telling Arjuna who he is.
Yeah, interesting. Keshava Maharaj mentioned that point this morning in class. There was a question about bridge preaching, and he mentioned how in the beginning Krishna asked Krishna, what was it? Krishna didn't speak about himself. He was speaking about the science of tattva and the soul. He was addressing Arjuna. Yeah, but from another point of view, that's what he began with. But it didn't, because this conversation, Bhagavad Gita, apparently, if anyone heard different, I've often heard that it took 45 minutes. You know, so from that perspective, Krishna did, in his conversation, within 45 minutes, get to the essential point that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. But yeah, what was it? That was your point, Mother Chandravali, that
I was thinking last week when Sita Vallabhi was asking about explaining to her two sons.
Oh, with you. Okay, I remember now. Okay.
Yeah, I was in the same stage in the beginning. So then today, because it's like Bhagavad Gita, this universal form, I was like thinking about it. You know, that's when I kind of realized how Krishna is talking about Arjuna and the soul and what the soul is and everything like that, karmas and all that. He doesn't talk about himself till later on when he's given him all other.
Yeah, he's laid the foundation.
Yeah.
He's laid the foundations, and then. But it seems at this point, it's stated here that his illusion has now been dispelled. I think he might have said similar words before as well. I think, but here he's making that statement. His illusion has now been dispelled. So now he's accepted Krishna to be the supreme. Now he's asking to see it, not for Krishna to prove himself, but because Arjuna's already accepted him as the supreme, but for people in general. Yeah, he'll ask, and that comes up, I think, in the next verse. All right, so let's read text 2. If anyone would like to read text 2. Any readers out there? Let's see. Mother Gayatri, like to read? Or you?
Yes, I can read. Sorry, I couldn't find.
Okay, Mother Lavanda is going to read.
Yeah, I couldn't find my unmute thing, so it took me a while. So we're on text 2.
2, yeah.
Bhavapyayo bhutanam sruto vistariso maya Prtha kamala patraksya mahatmyam api chavyayam. O lotus-eyed one, I have heard from you in detail about the appearance and disappearance of every living entity and have realized your inexhaustible glories. Translate. Purport. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Arjuna addresses Lord Krishna as lotus-eyed. Krishna's eyes appear just like the petals of a lotus flower. Out of his joy, for Krishna has assured him in a previous chapter, Aham Kirtsnasya Jagata Prabhava Parlayastata. I am the source of the appearance and disappearance of this entire material manifestation. Arjuna has heard of this from the Lord in detail. Arjuna further knows that in spite of his being the source of all appearances and disappearances, he is aloof from them. As the Lord has said in the 9th chapter, he is all-pervading, yet he is not personally present everywhere. That is the inconceivable opulence of Krishna, which Arjuna admits that he has thoroughly understood.
Okay, there's a bit of noise interference coming from somewhere. Okay, stop now. Hare Krishna. Okay, so Krishna is addressed here as Kamala Patraksha, lotus-eyed one. So I was reading that Arjuna's become overwhelmed again with loving affection and appreciation for Krishna. So that's why he calls him Aham Krishnasya. Yeah, O lotus-eyed. O lotus-eyed one. Aham. Yeah, Kamala Pratyaksha. So he wants to hear more. He's kind of eager to hear, see. But any questions, comments here? I've realized your inexhaustible glories. Yeah. Okay. Let's go to text 3. Perhaps I'll have a read if you don't mind jumping and read text 3. Okay. Evam etat yatat tvam atmanam parameshvara drashtum ichchami te rupam aishvaram purushottama. O greatest of all personalities, O supreme form, though I see you here before me in your actual position, as you have described yourself, I wish to see how you have entered into this cosmic manifestation. I want to see that form. So he wants to perceive it. He wants to see it. He's heard about it and he's accepted it, but now he wants to actually see it with his faculties. Yeah. Purple. The Lord said that because he entered into the material universe by his personal representation, that's chapter 9, okay. Mayatadam idam shavam jagat avyaktamurtina matstani savabhutani nachasamto vastita matstani bhutani pasyamegam osh aishram bhuta pina bhutasto matva bhuta bhavana. Yeah, chapter 9 describes he enters into everything, but at the same time he is outside of everything. All living beings are situated in him. Behold my mystic power. That's chapter 9. Okay. Now, as far as Arjuna is concerned, he is inspired by the statements of Krishna. But in order to convince others in the future who may think Krishna is an ordinary person, Arjuna desires to see him actually in his universal form, to see how he is acting from within the universe, although he is apart from it. Arjuna's addressing the Lord as Parameshvara is also significant. Since the Lord is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is present within Arjuna himself. Therefore, he knows the desire of Arjuna, and he can understand that Arjuna has no special desire to see him in his universal form. I think Prabhupada calls it a godless display of opulence, the universal form, a godless display of opulence. Yeah. Also, it's considered to be a material manifestation. Okay. He is present within Arjuna himself, therefore he knows the desire of Arjuna, and he can understand that Arjuna has no special desire to see his universal form. So, interesting, he has no special desire. For Arjuna is completely satisfied to see him in his personal form of Krishna. He just called him lotus eyes. There definitely ain't no lotus eyes in universal form as such. He becomes quite scared of it. Yeah. So Arjuna is satisfied to see him in his personal form of Krishna. But the Lord can understand also that Arjuna wants to see the universal form to convince others. Arjuna did not have any personal desire for confirmation. Krishna also understands that Arjuna wants to see the universal form to set the criterion, for in the future there will be so many impostors who would pose themselves as incarnations of God. The people therefore should be careful. One who claims to be Krishna should be prepared to show his universal form to confirm his claim to the people. Okay? So so next time you meet an incarnation of Krishna, next time you're shopping and you meet an incarnation of Krishna, someone who claims to be Krishna, you can ask him to reveal the universal form. Okay. There was some devotees who approached I guess I'll quote his name, he's passed away now, Sai Baba. Yeah, they went for a darshan with Sai Baba, and I don't know if he said he was a universal form or he was God, or his followers did. I'm not quite sure, but anyway, he was. So they asked him, if he is God, can he show his universal form? So he said, first you become my disciple, then I will and then you will see. The same as Arjuna became surrendered to Krishna. If you surrender to me, then I may gift you with that vision. Apparently that's how the story goes. Whether it's true, I don't know. Alright. Okay, I'm scrolling up and down here. So any questions here or comments? I think we spoke yesterday, wasn't it, about persons posing, claiming to be God, isn't it? We spoke. Sudamani Radhika was kind of bemused, having read what we read, how people can have the audacity or the unstable state of mind to actually claim to be God. But even in Krishna's time, that happened. What was the name of that demon? Anyone know that demon who actually was challenging Krishna, saying that Krishna was bogus and he was the real Vishnu?
Pondrick,
was it Pondrick?
Pondrick.
Yeah. Pondraka, was that right?
Pondraka.
Yeah, Pondraka. And he actually had 4 arms. He manifested 4 arms to try and prove the point. Now, I don't know exactly how he did that, whether he did mystic power or he got or he glued 2 arms with 2 bits of string. And he was, but it somehow it said it did. I mean, it doesn't give detail, and this happened before the Kurukshetra war, when the Kauravas were one dynasty. The cousin brothers hadn't fractioned at that point, so the message went. The message was sent in the assembly hall to be relayed to Krishna. How this Pondraka was demanding that Krishna stroke Vishnu give up his false claim to be the Lord. You know, as far as I know, perhaps it was perhaps it was just the assembly of the Pandavas. Okay, let's just take it like that. Yeah, but the assembly of Pandavas, and it described that when they got the message, they laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed. It caused an uproar in the assembly. And Krishna sent some quite strong words back, along the lines of, "Yes, I will come and I will show you, and I will sever your head from your neck, and your body will be eaten by dogs." And then Krishna was. Anyway, Krishna killed him. Hare Krishna. So that was in Krishna's time, even. Yeah. So here we have. You can ask someone who claims that they should show the universal form. Okay. Any other insights, questions, comments here? All right. So now Arjuna is going to make this request to Krishna. Someone would like to read text 4.
Can I read, Prabhu?
Yes,
Sorry.
please.
Text 4. Manyase yadi chakcham maya dasam iti Prabhu yogeshwara tato meba tvam dasa yatmanam avyam.
Darshan, yeah. Darsha atmanam avyayam. Sure, yeah.
If you translation, if you think that I am able to behold your cosmic form, O my Lord, O Master of all mystic power, then kindly show me that unlimited universal self. It is said that one can neither see, hear, understand, nor perceive the Supreme Lord, Krishna, by the material senses. But if one is engaged in loving transcendental service to the Lord from the beginning, then one can see the Lord by revelation. Every living entity is only a spiritual spark. Therefore, it is not possible to see or to understand the Supreme Lord. Arjuna, as a devotee, does not depend on his speculative strength. Rather, he admits his limitations as a living entity and acknowledges Krishna's inestimable position. Sorry. Arjuna could understand that for a living entity, it is not possible to understand the unlimited, infinite. If the infinite reveals himself, then it is possible to understand the nature of the infinite by the grace of the infinite. The word Yogeshwara is also very significant here because the Lord has inconceivable power. If he likes, he can reveal himself by his grace, although he is unlimited. Therefore, Arjuna pleads for the inconceivable grace of Krishna. He does not give Krishna orders. Krishna is not obliged to reveal himself unless one surrenders fully in Krishna consciousness and engages in devotional service. Thus, it is not possible for persons who depend on the strength of their mental speculation to see Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, thank you, Hare Krishna. So, any questions or comments here? Some nice points being made by Srila Prabhupada. I mean, we see Krishna every day at 7 o'clock. We have darshan. Here it said, Dasya Atmanam Avyayam. So, how do we see Krishna? It's the question here. There's a particular phrase we're looking for that Prabhupada would sometimes use. He quotes the Brahma Samhita.
Premanjan.
Yeah, go on. You can elaborate more. What does that mean?
It's
Premanjana?
Premanjana Viloki. You know, the eyes should be tinted with love.
Yeah, that's it. Premanjan, just like,
Premanjana Viloki.
yeah, eyes should. In one place, Prabhupada translates that as eyes tinged with the salve of devotional service.
Service, yeah.
Tinged with the salve of devotional service. Yeah.
But there is another thing I was thinking.
Yeah.
When we go in front of Krishna, at this stage we don't see Krishna. Only Krishna sees us.
Yeah, we could say that. Krishna's taken darshan of us.
Yeah, and then by the mercy, and when we come to, then only we can see Krishna. And if we see Krishna, we won't be. That is why we can't still understand the actions and everything what is happening, because we don't see Krishna.
Yeah, in one sense, perhaps we can be a bit charitable to ourselves. We actually, as devotees, when we come for darshan, devotees to one degree or another, they are appreciating Krishna's beauty and appreciating Krishna's presence.
Yeah.
I've seen that a few times when I'm doing deity greetings. Sometimes I glance around, and it's quite a unique position to be in, actually. Like, you're there on the altar and you're there between Krishna and all the Vaishnavas, and you see all the Vaishnavas looking so lovingly at the Lord. Of course, some of them are distracted, but distracted by inner thoughts, inner turmoil, maybe. But as we be a bit charitable, and we are devotees, and we can appreciate Krishna to some degree. But your point is also valid as well, that there is something extraordinary when Krishna actually might reveal, even if we can see to some degree the Krishna in his deity form, then he might reveal.
Bless you.
Jai, Hare Krishna. I'm blessed. Thank you so much. Then sometimes it's the darshan may be extraordinary, where Krishna is revealing actually his unlimited beauty. Yeah, and that's when devotees sometimes will be crying, where tears will come from the eyes in appreciation of the beauty of Krishna. And that's Krishna's grace, and that's Krishna's mercy. Because as is said here, his Prabhupada said, but if one is engaged in loving transcendental service to the Lord from the beginning, then one can see the Lord by revelation. Yeah, so it depends on your Krishna consciousness of how much you're going to see and appreciate about Krishna. If you're a prema bhakta, you're going, just like when Prabhupada was taking darshan of Londonishvara, one of his last visits, there was tears constantly flowing from his eyes. Yeah, so he was seeing, his eyes were tinged with the salve of love, and he was actually seeing Krishna. Of course, we see Krishna, but do we see Krishna? It's always, so Nitai Mata's bringing up a good point. How much are we seeing? Perhaps a very little, but we are seeing something. We are seeing something.
The more we build a relationship, I think, with Krishna, the more it will reveal.
The more we develop a loving relationship, relationship, bhakti, then Krishna will be obliged, in one sense, to some degree, to reveal himself to us. The full degree of revelation is that which is experienced by Mavya Soda, Nanda Maharaj, Radharani, Yeah. And that's why it's, and so some interesting points here that we cannot demand, we cannot force. It's Krishna's sweet grace and Krishna's sweet mercy. Yeah. When that grace and mercy comes, that's what makes spiritual life exciting. Yeah. It may not come some special grace and mercy of Krishna by which you have some spiritual experience. It may not come in years. It may come once in a lifetime, twice in a lifetime, but that revelation may be enough to keep you infused for your whole life and to hanker.
Mm.
Yeah. Who was a devotee who saw Krishna, then was told he would never see him again in this life?
Oh, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu?
No.
In Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela or
Srimad Bhagavatam.
Srimad Bhagavatam?
Oh, yes, yes.
It's
Not
Narada
Narada
Muni.
Narada
Narada
Muni.
Muni.
Yes, Narada Muni is correct. Narada
Yeah.
Muni. Yeah. By the grace of the sages, he followed the dhyana meditation and went into meditation, and Krishna appeared on the lotus of his heart and actually appeared before him and then disappeared. There's a whole story behind that. He wasn't quite at the perfectional stage. He still had some slight attachments. Anyway, so but still, let's be charitable again. Tomorrow we can see Krishna. Yeah, when we take darshan. Yeah.
Also, don't we see Krishna in our life all the time? Like,
Yeah.
you know what?
Yeah, you just opened up a whole nother dimension. Of course, yeah. We can see Krishna.
I give you a really good example. You know how I dress, right? Saturday, Sunday, and then I was told, okay, no turbans, you put crowns on. And you know, my ego went up, right? I do nice turbans, and turbans are nice, and everybody, it's a way of preaching. I was preaching to myself. Way of preaching, everybody thinks it's so nice, this, that, whatever. Anyway, I did the crowns for a while, and I realized how Krishna is looking after me. Like, I'm getting older, climbing up onto the altar and doing all these things. It's taking time, doing things. And now I can like look back and think a little bit, Krishna has made it a little bit easier for me. Plus, on top of it, I can spend time in Kirtan, Guru Puja and Kirtan afterwards, you know, and like Krishna is really looking after you in every way. You don't realize, well, why this, why that, you know?
And then we could, and we just read, also we're going to read how we read the Russell Homer Sukuntaya, he's a taste of water, and there's many explanations of how we can appreciate Krishna. But what's one of the main ways that we can associate with Krishna?
Devotees?
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Yeah, this is how he's come here. He's come in this very special form. So the more we pay attention, the more our heart becomes purified. We can actually sit down and be with Krishna and experience his association through the holy name. Yeah. We can get lost in Krishna. We can, that's Krishna's, and that's why Krishna's name is considered to be more merciful than Krishna, because for Krishna to manifest Shakshat Darshan, to manifest before us, that's quite an achievement. But through practice, because the holy name is more merciful, Krishna's more readily available in his holy name. To that degree, we are chanting without offense. To that degree, we can, we have purity in our chanting, etc. But Krishna, we just have to pick up our beads, and chant the mantra. It's like that purple. I wonder if I can, where Krishna, Where is that?
That's why the holy name is in the altar of some of the temples.
Yeah, they have that in New Rajasthan. They have the
Holy
holy
name in
name
the
is actually a
altar.
deity,
Yes, holy
Yeah.
name. Yes, it's person.
and they worship the holy
Yeah.
names. There's one amazing purple. Perhaps I won't find it.
Harinam Chintamani explains like this, I think.
Yeah.
Harinam.
Let me see if I can find this. Perhaps I won't find it, but it's a wonderful purple where Prabhupada describes in the Bhagavad Gita that Krishna and his internal potency are dancing on the tongue of a devotee. Yeah? And his internal potency is Radharani. So Radha and Krishna are dancing on the tongue of the devotee. Mhm. So, yeah, so this is...
Sharanagati.
Sorry?
Also in Sharanagati, the holy name, how it enters to your heart and how it blossoms into.
Oh, Bhakno Thakur. Yeah.
Good.
So you can understand how it can, because yeah, so just like we don't, we desire to see Krishna, isn't it? We're speaking about seeing Krishna in his beautiful two-armed form as lotus-eyed. We're not generally hankering to see the universal form. So the same as Arjuna. I think Prabhupada says that you cannot worship the universal form. It's difficult to dress the universal form. Yeah, very difficult. But Krishna comes in a human-like form. So anyway, so main point here. Let's read it again. But it is said one can neither see, hear, understand, nor perceive the Supreme Lord by the material senses. But if one is engaged in loving devotional service to the Lord from the beginning, then one can see the Lord by revelation. Oh, it's a shame I can't find that purple. It's quite... Alright.
You can preach to people who are in love with nature. Starting, it's like you have to go backward, like in the reverse, starting with the universal form, and then coming forward.
That's the first stages in God realization. That's the first thing that Sukadeva Goswami explains when he begins to speak in the second canto.
Yeah.
For those who cannot assimilate, for those who cannot comprehend the Supreme Brahman actually having form, then they're encouraged to meditate upon the universal, not universal, here's a universal form, but on the Virat Rupa. How the rivers are the veins of the Lord, the trees are the hairs on his body, the mountains are his bones.
Yeah.
And that way, I think, because Mars Parikshit asks, what can one meditate upon? So all the dirt in the heart is dispelled. So Sukadeva Goswami is looking at the audience. There's many yogis there and tapasvis. So he begins by describing that, about the first stages of God realization, exactly as you said, Nitai Mata. Then he describes about the super soul. That's in second canto. Okay. Alright, so Arjuna's pleading for the inconceivable grace of Krishna. Yeah, he's not making orders. Please, Krishna, if you see, if you think that I am able to behold. That's nice, isn't it? If you think that I am qualified. So next time we're praying to the ladies, they're praying to the Lord. If you think I'm qualified, my Lord, please appear in the form of your holy name. It's kind of a sense of humility. Oh, you're not demanding. Krishna, please. Unless you appear to me, I'm not going to. If you don't appear, I'm going to stop chanting Hare Krishna. I was preaching to one lady one time. She used to come to our Friday night sanghas. And every time she would come and sit in, I knew it would be a intense session. Every time. She would have the same question. And no matter how you answered it, she would never be satisfied, you know. And sometimes I would just let others answer her and give their realizations, and she wouldn't accept it. And the whole
Is that
conversation.
Indian lady I remember with curly hair?
Oh, you was there, Mother God. You might know. No,
Oh
you remember
yes,
that
you
lady
make other
used to.
people answer a question.
Do you remember she used to come and she used to demand that she's not going to take to bhakti unless Krishna shows her something.
Mm.
I recall something like that. Yes, she was
Yeah.
very intense.
And then everyone would give their personal testimonies, and she would say, "No, I don't." And the whole conversation would get sidetracked. And anyway, so she was someone who was demanding that something happened, that Krishna speaks, Krishna, I don't know what she was expecting, but Krishna come off the altar, shake her hand, or tell her before
She should have come
went
to Mangalarti. Stay 1 week in the temple, then.
Well, we tried it. We tried everything. Anyway,
Is she still coming?
I see her occasionally.
I think I've
Maybe
seen
it
her a
was the
couple of years ago.
Sorry,
Maybe it was a test for everyone else.
sorry, Mother Gayatri. Yeah,
I saw her, I think, in the shop a couple of years ago. I
Yeah.
think so.
yeah. I mean, she means well. She's not. I mean, she's a pious lady, but she was, difficult sometimes.
Maybe she's still not ripe. She's a mango, but not ripe
Yeah,
enough
that's
to
for sure.
understand.
Yeah. So it's by devotional, selfless devotional service that we kind of invoke Krishna's grace with a humble state of mind, you know. So this is what Arjuna's doing. He's approaching Krishna. He doesn't need to see himself. He's already convinced. But for people in general, he's now making this request. Okay. All right, let's have a little, just over 10 minutes left. Let's read the next text as well. So Krishna will start to speak here. Okay, someone like to read? Excuse me.
Bless you.
I can read, but my slok is not good.
Don't worry.
Okay,
Krishna.
text 5. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Pashyame Partha Rupeni Sattasostha Saharsasa Nana Vidani Devyani Nana Varna Akritinicha. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear Arjuna, O son of Prtha, see now my opulence, hundreds and thousands of varied, divine and multicolored forms." Purport. Arjuna wanted to see Krishna in his universal form, which, although a transcendental form, is just manifested for the cosmic manifestation and is therefore subject to the temporary time of this material nature. As the material nature is manifested and not manifested, similarly, this universal form of Krishna is manifested and non-manifested. It is not eternally situated in the spiritual sky, like Krishna's other forms. As far as the devotee is concerned, he is not eager to see the universal form, but because Arjuna wanted to see Krishna. In this way, Krishna reveals this form. This universal form is not possible to be seen by any ordinary man. Krishna must give one the power to see it.
Okay. I say this carefully, but in one sense, it would be pretty exciting to see it from one perspective. I remember there's one devotee, he was very much desirous of seeing the Battle of Kurukshetra. He really wanted, he really would relish and aspire to see Krishna, to see the whole battle. Yeah. I say that with a bit of lightness, you know, because actually, yeah, I just found that purport I was speaking of, so I'm just going to read it. It isn't so long. It's chapter 12, text 8, where Krishna says, "Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Engage all your intelligence in me, thus you'll live in me without the doubt." Then he says, if you can't fix your mind on me, then engage in the regulative principles of bhakti. You know, that succession of verses. If you cannot do sadhana, then at least work for me. If you cannot do that, then at least give something away, etc. So he's the purport to text 8, just a short one. One who is engaged in Lord Krishna's devotional service lives in a direct relationship with the Supreme Lord. So there is no doubt that his position is transcendental from the very beginning. Right? So that's perhaps us, we might say. Or even before, devotees who just take up the activities of bhakti. Their position is transcendental from the very beginning. A devotee does not live on the material plane. He lives in Krishna. Interesting concept. We live in Krishna. The holy name of the Lord and the Lord are non-different. Therefore, when a devotee chants Hare Krishna, Krishna and his internal potency are dancing on the tongue of the devotee. When he offers Krishna food, Krishna directly accepts these eatables, and the devotee becomes Krishnaized by eating the remnants. One who does not engage in such service cannot understand how this is so, although this is a process recommended in Bhagavad Gita and in other Vedic literatures. Okay, so wonderful purport by Srila Prabhupada there. Now, text 8 of chapter 12. Okay. When the devotee chants Krishna in his internal potency, otherwise known as Radharani, is dancing on the tongue of a devotee. Okay, so anything specific here about this verse and purport? Really quickly, Krishna's going to reveal it. We're only on yeah, so remember, it's a temporary, it doesn't, like all of Krishna's incarnations, they are all eternal, and they have a particular place where they're worshipped. As you know, Ram, Matsya, Kurma, they are eternal forms, but not this universal form. It's shown, and then it is withdrawn. Yeah.
I just wanted to ask, you know, Krishna showed his universal form in that assembly, and who couldn't see?
Duryodhana, I was just reading about that.
Three of them couldn't see, but there was somebody else that was. Did Bhishma not see? Or he saw? I can't remember, but.
Well, that was when, yeah. So, in an attempt to avoid the battle of Kurukshetra, Yudhisthira sent Krishna to Duryodhana as a messenger of peace. That's that, yeah. So, Duryodhana and Karna's response, I'm just reading here. Duryodhana and Karna's response, however, was foolish. To express disdain for the Pandava's strength, they actually plotted to imprison Krishna with ropes and throw him into a prison. But then it's nicely said here, only a great devotee such as Yasoda Devi can evoke submission from the unlimited powerful Lord and bind him. Alright, so Mother Yasoda can bind Krishna, but Duryodhana can't. Yeah. So binding Krishna was impossible for Duryodhana because he was envious and devoid of bhakti. Duryodhana and Karna's attempt only caused Krishna to laugh and say, "You cannot bind me, I am situated everywhere." Is at that time Krishna showed a partial universal form to Duryodhana. Yeah, so he became frightened, but he remained unsubmissive. He thought Krishna is just manifesting some mystic potency. He's got simply mystic powers. Yeah. So this is not the same universal form. So everyone could see that partial. As far as I know, everyone in that assembly could actually see it. That partial universal form. The whole ensemble. Everyone who was there could see it. But still, Duryodhana doing didn't it?
I
Yeah,
thought
so.
Dronacharya saw it, but that other Acharya, the Kripacharya, he couldn't see it. I was thinking, why is that?
Okay, perhaps that's a detail I'm not aware of. Are you speaking about this part here? Or are you speaking about on the Battle of Kurukshetra?
No, it's that.
Prabhu, this form is not transcendental. This is not spiritual fully, because it's a term of the material nature. It's temporary.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
So
it's pretty fantastic. It's pretty overwhelming, but it's a manifestation of
the
course,
material.
everything's spiritual, yeah, but it represents the material.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because it's not eternal.
Yeah. Although transcendental, but still it is transcendental, but it's material. It's just manifested for cosmic.
It says it's transcendental here. I guess
you know, the first line of the purport.
Arjuna wanted to see the universal form, which although it's transcendental, it's just manifest for the cosmic manifestation. Yeah, it's pretty transcendent to the ordinary. Yeah. That's for sure. It's pretty far out. Yeah. So, Mother Chandravali, are you referring to this incident here, the peace mission, or are you referring to the universal form? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that detail. Perhaps it's there in the Mahabharata. I haven't read that for some time in the Mahabharata. I'm just reading from a commentary here. That, as far as I understood it, everyone could see it. Yeah, but their responses were mixed. Their responses were different. Some obviously offering prayers to Krishna. Duryodhana was frightened, but he was unsubmissive. Yeah, he was, because he's not a devotee. So Krishna didn't. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Any other comments or questions? Always, let's have a look how long. Yeah, short. Let's read the next verse as well. Let's skip ahead and get to this universal form. Hare Krishna, 11:6. Someone like to read? We've got a precious 2 minutes. We can go over, but great. Time's going. Okay, I'm going to read. Pashyadityan vashun rudran Ashvino maratos tata pahoni atrishta povani pascha achayani bharata. Translation, O best of the Bharats, see here. Sorry. Seeing here the different manifestations of Adityas, Vashus, Rudras, Ashwini Kumaras, and all the other demigods, behold the many wonderful things which no one has ever seen or heard before. So this is text 6. I'm just checking. Oh, there's a lot of notes. Next one. 6. Okay, purple. Even though Arjuna was a personal friend of Krishna and the most advanced of learned men, it was still not possible for him to know everything about Krishna. Here it is stated that humans have never heard nor known of all these forms and manifestations. Now Krishna reveals these wonderful forms. Okay. Thus begins the revelation of the universal form to Arjuna. Hare Krishna. All right. Any closing comments or questions here? Perhaps sometimes I ask, what's some main point, 1 or 2 points that we discussed today, which we might go away with?
Arjuna asking to see this universal form. He didn't have any doubts. He didn't really want to see it. He asked for us.
Yeah, he's asking for people in general who may doubt Krishna's divinity. Yeah, so he asks, yeah. Also, there's a mood which he asked for. If you think I am fit. It was quite interesting. Yeah. Any other one more point that anyone thought, oh, that's interesting? Put you on the spot. You can have a look at the purports if you have it there. Yeah.
Murli
Krishna.
Prabhu, in Bhagavatam it says that all the upper and the lower planetary systems are mapped to the universal form of the Lord.
Say again? All
The upper and the lower planetary systems like Atala, Vitala, Sutala, the lower and the top planets are mapped to the universal form of the Lord, like on the body.
Manifest. Say again.
Are mapped like
like a map.
Yeah.
A map.
Like the legs are like the lower planets.
Okay. Yeah.
Like the upper planets.
Yeah, that's what we spoke about as well, wasn't it? The remember we spoke about the that's known as the we have the Vishvarup.
Vishvarup,
yeah. And I mentioned, what was it? I mentioned it's the first stages of God realization. I think someone mentioned it. Nimai Mata mentioned about appreciating Krishna, wasn't it? That's how we ended up there. For instance, in the lake or like that. And then we spoke about the holy name, where Krishna reveals himself, etc. Yeah. All right, okay. So let's pause there. Of course, we never stop. We just press the pause button and we continue. Which verse did we leave off from? We left off from text 6. So let's pick up text 7, okay? So thank you again, everyone, for joining us. And Brihat Bhagavatam Rita fans, we have a reading tomorrow, continuing that adventure, okay, from 6 to 7. So if you've got time, please feel free to join us, okay? Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Universal form ki jai. Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.